Hey, it's another Manly Monday, and this Manly Monday, we are trying a different thing. We are doing men liking stuff. And the men, I am an honorary guy. I am Leanna for this. We are talking about Clair Obscur Expedition 33 today and our panel of men liking stuff. We have David from the US who makes electronic music, grew up with JRPGs, platformers like Final Fantasy, Sonic the Hedgehog, and has an affinity for the color orange. He's wearing an orange hat right now. We have
Yeah.
Jake. You guys know Jake on this channel, the No Deluxe mod on the Leanna Remmer server. He says there's no particular titles or anything to think is important to mention. He is rocking a red beret. I've never had anybody cosplay before, so it's a baguette pillow and red heart sunglasses. And Jake's in Ireland. The actual Frenchman on the panel is Alec, and he has assured us that it's okay to say Frenchman, and it is okay for Jake to be wearing a beret. And then Grim, also a semi-regular on my channel. You'll recognize Grim, James Desborough, as the owner-operator of Postmortem Studios. That's post slash mort dot
Dash.
com dash. I knew that was wrong. Thank you. Post dash mort.com. I love Grimm's work, and I wanted to have like an artist and a writer and a musician and then computer people and all that stuff because Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is a lot, and there was a lot to get through. So we are going to go starting with David. We're going to sort of go counter. Everybody's different, so I will call the names because, yeah, Zoom. But David, what kind of ending you got and what you like really, really loved about the game.
Okay. I went for the Verso ending. That was my first inclination just because I felt like closure was the best thing for this world. And that was the way to get it. So that's why I chose it.
All right.
But for me, I think the thing that I liked the most about the game was that it was very much its own thing, but it grabbed from so many things. I always love it when art does that because I think that's what it's all about, honestly. So that's what I like most about it.
All right. So we'll get to the meaning of the endings in a bit. But Grim, what ending did you pick and what drew you to the game? Why are you liking this game?
I had her stay in the world of the painting,
Yeah,
for
you picked the
reasons which
Mayel
are,
ending.
yeah, for reasons which I'm sure we'll get into later.
Hmm.
What I really liked about it was that it had a vision and it stuck to it, and it didn't feel like it compromised too much. So much of what we see these days is so compromised. This knew what it wanted to be and it went for it, and I appreciated that.
All right. Alec, what did you love about it? What ending did you pick?
So I picked the mile ending because there was no way I was destroying the painting. And what I liked is the first glimpse I had from the game was the flying waters and the whole mix of the environment, the music, and the enemies were so fit so well together that it got me to buy the game.
Oh, so you just saw it based on sort of like game vis, like footage.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
That's
amazing.
cool.
All
That's
right,
cool.
Jake, what ending did you pick and what did you love about it?
After pretty much staring at my TV screen for like 10 minutes, I finally sucked up enough and did Verso's ending. I didn't want to choose any of them. They were all horrible decisions to me, but to continue and end the story, I picked Verso, and my reason for that was just simply I felt he had suffered enough. That was the only reason I was going to let him be selfish. Totally understand the arguments on the other side. It was just where I was at that time. Regarding loving the game, you don't have enough time in the day, but mainly the music's absolutely incredible. And if I had to pick one place specifically, Serene. I go to Serene and I would just have the character stand there for a while. It's all beautiful and
Ah,
the
it's a
music is
beautiful level. Yeah, yeah, yeah. See, I did try to balance the panel regarding endings. I went with the we're gonna Alec, we're going to use the English mispronunciations of things just for standardization because Alec taught me it's male, almost like miel for honey, but male, you slur it, but it's male in the English. The Lune one is going to kill me because I'm Canadian. I have to know it's loon. But yeah, I picked the male ending and it was just, I couldn't destroy Verso's inner child, but there are no right or wrong endings. And that's one of the really cool things about the game. Now, Grim, you didn't say why you picked the ending you did because yeah, I think it's tied into overall your overall experience. There is so much to talk about here. The monster designs are incredible. The kind of turn-based real-time combo combat functions shockingly well, all things considered. That is difficult to get right. The music spectacular. You're a writer, so I want you to touch on there's a lot of story for people that is actually not story, it's people's head canon. And because you write
Hmm.
games, I think the reason I want to do here is you're uniquely um suited to discuss the obscure part of Clair Obscur, the stuff that's not there that they have to piece together. So you have the floor right now. I want to give you that.
Um, so writing for games is very different from writing for fiction. I do both. And writing for computer games is also different from writing for tabletop games, which is my milieu. Um, with both computer games and tabletop games, you're in part trying to create a world that people can make their own choices and come to their own understandings
Mm-hmm.
from. So I tend to think that you will tend to write in quite broad strokes that leave things open to interpretation. And if you do that well, which I think the game does very well, then you get buy-in from people via the headcanon that they come up with and the not just the grand choices at the end, but the choices they make as they go through the game, like how they level up their characters, what equipment they like, whether they make a choice purely for statistics or just because they like the way something looks. All of these things are important, but I did feel that the writing throughout the game managed to make me attached to all of the characters, um, even the villains, right? I could kind of understand where they were coming from, even if I disagreed with it. But it didn't lead you by the nose and tell you that you had to feel a certain way. It just kind of gave you enough to read from it. So I felt the writing was very good in that regard. I wish my French was better so that I could follow it in French, but I don't know how
It's
well
a
it
different
translated over to
experience.
English.
It
Yeah.
really is. I mean, Andy Serkis, people are going on about Charlie Cox. Andy Serkis's Renoir blew me away. Just yeah, just
Yeah.
absolutely blew me away. No notes other than how. Who Grim? I we're getting ahead, but who do you consider the villains of the game? Because structurally and narratively, they're different.
Yeah, it's
It's the difference between a villain and an antagonist, right?
yeah, I mean Renoir I think does cross that line into villainy, even though it's about kind of father knows best
Right,
sort of attitude,
right,
right?
right.
And you find that in a lot of complicated villains like Doctor Doom from Marvel. You know, he's not really a villain, certainly not from his perspective, but he is willing to impose his will on others, and that's what makes him something to buck against.
Right.
So
Agreed.
while his motivations are Renoir's motivations are not ones I would agree with, I can at least understand where he's coming from in that, and then he's just kind of dragged the others along with him to a large extent.
Yeah.
And the rest of I mean, the characters and things that you run into, the monsters and enemies that you run into, they're really reflections and aspects of the personalities of the people who put themselves
Right.
into the
Oh,
painting.
yeah. The
Yeah.
layers.
So
We will get to that. But you mentioned the French. Alec, you did you play in French? Yeah, you did.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I playing
You
in
did both.
French.
So what
Yeah.
are the differences for people like me whose French is just passable? Uh what are the main differences that you found between the French and the English voice?
Well, the one that are the most different was the one from Mael and Verso.
Yeah, because they're well-known, yeah, voice actors.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Mael was voiced in French by the one voicing Jinx in Arkham.
Right. The same
So
French voice actress.
yeah, she have a very different vibe. She also voiced Zelda in all the Zelda games.
Yeah.
So
For people who don't know, I think is it Jen Valentine? The voice of Shadowheart is that
uh,
from Baldur's Gate, yeah.
yeah,
In
Jennifer English, I
English.
think.
Yeah, okay. And Verso is Final Fantasy guy. I
Yeah,
mean they
and
were very distinct in English, yeah.
in French it's an Assassin's Creed voice actor. The one voicing Bayek in Assassin's
That
Creed
would
Origin.
work. Yeah, that would work. Yeah,
And
yeah,
so
yeah.
it does have a different vibe. It's a bit more chill and joyful and
Yeah,
awkward in
yeah,
French.
yeah. Now you really connected with Gustav and then the end of
Yeah.
Act One happened. So why him? Why, and sort of the similar question. We'll get to like the male characters more directly, but what did you connect with? Like you said, the sort of look of it really grabbed you, but you got into the characters as well. I agree that you end up with what Grim said, that you end up liking all of the characters, and that was a feat for me with Shadowheart voice. So, what was kind of your journey with that?
Well, it's also a thing with the French voice because is the actor is voicing Steve Rogers in the movies. So, and that's one of my favorite Marvel characters. So it created already something of a connection.
Don't
And
know what
it's
you're talking about. Not at all. Yeah. Sorry, there's a Captain America shield in my background for people who are just listening. Yeah, okay,
uh,
so it was the voices you thought were well cast in French as well.
yeah, and it's
Okay.
the how he acted. Like he wasn't very fitting the very heroic type of behavior. He was a bit more awkward. He was a bit more flawed and a bit lost with everything happening in the game.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, so David, you are the musician, and I know Jake is super prepared to all the love. Because I think he's we've talked for like 3 hours about this game personally. But David, the music in the game is
Mhm.
spectacular.
Oh
And it's
yeah.
not just period spectacular, uh, the anachronisms with the gestural music, with the jazz, with the salsa, the speedo salsa, if you make it to
Yeah.
the top of the platforming tower. But,
Mhm.
what talk about the music a bit, but also sort of what characters drew you in as well.
For me, Gustav, he drew me in mostly. I mean, it makes sense, I guess, because he's like the first one you kind of step in the shoes of. But I kind of showing him just contemplating what he's, about to face, not only with the Gomage, but his relationship too, technically, I guess. It was just cool to
With
see.
Sophie, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it was good to see like him kind of have to reckon with that because it's about to happen. So I think that was a good way for me to be introduced to the world because it really connected me to him. But for the music, yeah, this game has some fantastic music. And it's so varied too. It's not like it goes in whatever direction it needs to go. Like I love the little sonatas, the piano pieces that are just nothing but piano playing the whole like I can sit there and play that all day. But I'm just surprised. I know they found the artist, the main artist on SoundCloud. That's interesting. But it's cool that he really didn't do this kind of thing before, but he still set the world on fire.
Yeah.
And I think that's impressive just because like it's difficult to do that and not only do it on kind of your first project is pretty
That's
amazing.
rare. Yeah. I mean, he wrote it
Yeah.
like a symphony where there was motif and he kept going back to it. And the fact that the main theme is full of spoilers, but it's in four different languages, one fictional, so none of us knew. And did you guys like pick out little words here and there that it's like, okay, that's connected to the story, but I didn't quite know what it meant until second playthrough. Did you, Alec, did you
I
pick out? Because
didn't.
the French ones are the most glaringly clues.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But there was this idea of it sound like poetry, so it
Yeah.
might not mean what it said.
Yeah.
So
And then it
you go
does.
on the abstract level of it must mean something, but
Yeah. Okay, Jake, you are a super fan. So, what characters got you? And what do you love? Top three, what you love the most? Because I know you love everything, but top three.
I can just do it just beforehand. David, did you play the pianos when you had the react button and the
Oh, yeah.
manner where you can play them? I couldn't get the
Yep.
timing right to get the song, their actual tune, and I sat there longer than I should have trying to make it work to
That's
make them
cool.
play their actual tunes.
I knew they could, but I honestly didn't. I
See,
was too much trying to get through the game, but
I role played that because once I found out it was Aline's piano, every time I passed, it was like, fuck you.
that's cool.
To Jake, what did you love about it, and which characters drew you in?
So I'm gonna be such a fence sitter on this, where it's like I love them all for their own thing. The main ones I actually adored the most was the relationship between Monaco, Esquier, and Francois, because they are kind of before Lumiere, if that makes any sense. They had been
Yeah,
It
there
does.
throughout it all and had such a childlike wonder and love for the world as it is. Even Francois, who screams at people to get off his lawn and yet uses the strongest ice attack ever, which, let's be real, who hasn't played Pretend as a child and said, I use this unblockable Super Saiyan beam of death and blah, blah, blah. The whole every interaction with any of those characters had me beaming regardless of what had happened just beforehand. Case in point, punching SK in the stomach and making wine come out. I'm sorry, that was the funny.
they
I couldn't
wasted so
believe
much
it when that
wine.
happened.
So much was going to waste. I'm like, get a vat. Okay, so those levels, Jake, that's a great segue because let's see if our interpretations are the same. So, level one, Baby Verso, right? Baby Verso,
Mm,
base canvas, played with Clair. Like, Francois' ice attack was the strongest ever because it's an older sister playing with a younger brother, right?
mm,
So then there's Lumiere that was created by Aline.
yes.
And then there is the schism, right?
Yes, the fracture. Yeah.
The fracture, right. And then the accents were created by Renoir.
Hmm.
And then the Necrons were created by Clair to level the scales so that it was a fair fight between Renoir and Aline.
Yeah, as far as I know, the Neverons trapped Chroma so it couldn't go back to Eileen.
Right. So
So
couldn't go
yeah.
back. Yeah. Okay. So that we all sort of agree that that's the basic, not so basic world building. Like that's complicated. That two playthroughs making notes so that we're sort of all in agreement. And then there are the altered people where Clea painted over Aline's creations as well.
Yes.
Okay.
yeah.
So now we've got the painted versions of people versus the no face real world in the painting versions of people. And then there are different snapshots of people at different parts in their lives. The guy in the
Where
top hat. Okay. Who is that? I say Renoir. Does
I say
anybody
that
think
too.
okay.
Yeah.
Younger
Yeah.
Renoir.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Um, the the curator is clearly real world Renoir. The paintress is Aline. When and then we have two versions of Clair,
Yep.
one of whom is locked away. The other is the person you're talking to at the crossroads in the ancient battlegrounds and then in the endless tower,
Yeah,
right?
the Forgotten Battlefield, I think it was, and
Forgotten
then
battlefield.
the start.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the forgotten battlefield. And then you've got painted Clair, who is locked away,
Mm-hmm.
and you get her outfit.
Mm.
And Lynn looks great in that outfit. I think I kept her in it the minute I got that.
100%.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, it's a
That
great
is Looney's
outfit.
outfit for me.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then things get kind of weird because at one point in the game, the curator turns into painted Renoir. And for the life of me, I have no idea what that means. Can anybody help me out here?
I will just say I
Yeah.
no, I don't know. I was also confused when that transformation happened. I don't know
Right.
what that means between the two. I
Right.
don't know if that means they can just decide on. I don't know. I don't know. I'll stop.
Like I can take a big swing, but it's not based on established information. It would be headcanon. And how do we feel about headcanon? Does anybody try to assiduously avoid headcanon like I did? Or you guys go all in?
I go for it because I think that's part of the fun, and like I think they kind of both coexist in a way. Well,
Okay.
but I think they both can kind of talk to each other, especially in this kind of a world.
Yeah.
Because I think headcanon is just your interpretation, really.
Well, you're kind of required to do it to make the choice, right? I mean, Grim, that's what you
Yeah,
were saying before, that there's so much that the player must add that you're sort of, it's impossible to filter out all the speculation. But did you go all in on headcanon or did you try to stay sort of big picture? Oh,
Oh,
can't hear him.
muted.
Mike died.
Can you hear me now?
There we go.
Yep.
Yes, we can hear you now. Okay.
Oh, okay. Um, I was kind of happy with not knowing, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah,
Um,
right. I tried not to go down rabbit holes because I like the ambivalence.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean
I
that yeah,
I didn't do any deep diving on like anything. I just experienced it and then I guess saw what I thought.
I got a little obsessed about what Clea was saying with the Necrons because it really did feel like that was fuck all of you with a lot of them. Like, I hate dance lessons and I hate my father's swelled head. I mean, we've got a boss called Gross Tet that stomps on you. I mean, that's not subtle. Uh, Alec, does that translate to fat head or large head?
Um, well, both could
Both.
work.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Alec's dog is demanding
Yeah.
attention. Jake, what you got your hand up? What do you have to add?
So it's just in the sort of headcanon thing that I was like you and I got obsessed over certain questions, especially about the time dilation between the real world and the
Yeah.
canvas world.
Mm,
And I actually found a thing with the developers where they said, we do have an actual rate of time dilation, but you don't get to find out. It's not in the game. And that
okay.
gave me permission of I'm allowed to guess because they're planning to answer that.
See, I
So it's a
based it
guess rather than making it up and it's real, if that
I
makes sense.
I based it on the state of Mel's burns. A certain amount of
Mm.
time has to
Yeah.
pass for those burns to heal. So we're talking months since Verso died. So months since the fire, at least, if not a couple years. But it can't be more than that because
Mm,
she's still struggling with
yeah.
the disability. And that I admit that part hit me hard. So what my headcanon was for Renoir turning painted is that it was another control thing. He just wanted to do a bit of a flex. It was a flare. Because the other
Oh.
option is Aline overriding him, which I don't think he'd stay as calm in that case. Because that would be a loss
Mm,
of control. That moment was when he was the big villain reveal, right? Like, psych, yeah, I was playing y'all. Right. That was my take on it. But again, I don't know if that's accurate. That's one of the few parts of world building that I don't know what to think. Um, but let's get into the complicated family dynamics because I know everybody has thoughts. And this is
Oh
men
yeah.
liking stuff. And the thing that shocks me, maybe not shocks me, but I sit back and I looked at it and I kept looking at Mayal and it's like, you look too much like me. You even have the same streaks in your hair as me, but you don't sound like me. This is like massive case of body dysmorphia going on. Uh, but the men, guys, just it's Gustav and Verso, and some guys are into Renoir, but all of these dudes are really complicated and flawed. So what
Agree.
is it about these characters? Because I wanted to smack the shit out of Verso the whole time. And I
Me too.
think okay, so you too. So okay, you wanted to smack the shit out of Verso, David, but why did you like him?
Because like I still felt that he was being truthful, that he did value his time with these people, you know. I don't think he was ever really lying about that. Like in the scenes that he was in, I don't ever feel like he's putting on a front. Like it felt like he genuinely feels these things and he's just letting it out. But he also lied and he's also using them to get his goal, you know. So it's like I can see both that he's a suave asshole. Can I say that?
Yeah. That's what I
Uh,
don't like about him. He's too
he,
slick.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I still feel like he's still genuine though, in a point, in a way, because
Genuine.
I don't know. I also
Okay.
find it kind of poetic that the painting version of the painted version of Verso is the one that stopped the painting in the first place. If you choose that ending, I like
Yeah.
that.
That
I
that
like that a
is
lot.
that is something to remember about Verso is he is a creation. And
Yeah.
that's what makes it really, really difficult. Jay, I know you have thought. Anybody feel strongly about jumping in right now, or I'll just go around the other way than I normally had. Because Jake, I know we've talked about this, and I know we've talked about the fact that it is like it's as okay, Grim, go ahead. Grim, yeah,
Oh,
jump
what?
in.
No,
Yeah.
Jake can go first. It's fine.
You sure?
I'm too English to butt in. Oh.
He's Irish. Come on, man.
Oh,
Don't make this awkward.
my ancestors were horrible to your ancestors, so please.
Okay.
Back, it's fine.
Okay. Okay. So Jake, and then we'll go Grim. What was it about this incredibly frustrating, ultimately he is defined in game by Renoir's perspective of him. So he's his mother's likeness, his father's the masks that hide the truth. um we have contradictory things. What do you think's going on with Verso?
First of all, can I just say every Axum can go get stuffed. And
Oh,
Oh
Renoir
yeah.
thinks he's so much smarter than he is, and I want to give him a collective slap for every single one of them.
I'd have done exactly what Claire did. I would have smashed the shit out of mine if I
Yes.
could. Like, no, I don't want to look at that.
But for me personally, regarding Verso, my viewpoint from him came a lot from his connection with SKA Monaco because they actually knew him. And I know that sounds really daft, but it's they got to experience life with him rather than putting onto him what they expected of a painted creation. And Monaco said about him ripping himself in half to make them laugh. SKA talking to him, he's like, "You're very woo. You need to be more wee." And
Wee.
in that adorableness, there was a lot of he's such a sad and abused man that I don't agree with him on most things, but at the same time, I just want him to not be in pain anymore. And I know that's so horrible because you're making Miel be in pain still
Oh
when
yeah,
you
you
come to
you
like the
you
end
have
game
to
choice.
choose which one is going to suffer.
And Miel will still have some family there. I know that's horrible to
But it's
say, but
that
he literally
family.
had no one.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yes,
Yeah.
in an ideal world, because all of them should develop therapy just to take it. Because apparently in the 19th century, I'm so mad when they did that. Even though it's the
What?
33rd of December. I had to relook that. It's the 33rd of December is
It
when he
is
died.
I
Which
took that because they used that as a creative flourish in dates because Aline time stopped for her. She wouldn't allow it to roll into 1906. The world stopped,
I
right?
see.
And I took it, maybe the fire happened on December 31st. He died a couple days later. So she went
Mm.
December 33rd. That historically, history nerding here, is why they had anachronistic dates in that time period.
I thought it
Yeah.
was them trying to mess about and be like, it's not really Paris, it's Magic World Paris or something like
Well,
that. But that
it
also makes
is.
sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good.
Uh,
But sorry.
but sorry, my final thing just in regards to Verso, and I'll shut up, is that Verso, the whole thing regard him hiding protecting, guarding the truth from lies that his father put on him is such a slap in the face of someone who's literally born to keep the peace in a family. How dare you call me a liar when literally if I told you the truth once, this entire family would fall to ruin. And that
That was your take on it.
I
Okay.
and to be honest, I've been that in my family before, and that's why I was just like, I stand with Verso because if he ever gets to beat the arse out of his father, which he did, I cheered, and I truly did. I made sure Verso was the one who got the final hit every single time. It's just like, ah, screw you, buddy. But that's just me.
Yeah.
I just felt bad for him every time I built perfection because that poor fucker. Uh,
Oh no,
I,
it's
but
horrible choice
Grim,
on that
Difficult.
one, in
I'm
my opinion.
I'm sure you have opinions on this because my take on Verso, and I'm curious what your take is he says what he wants to be true, not
Hmm.
like, he says,
I can agree with that.
Alicia is this great artist when she just has this one teeny little painting on the wall, and that's the only thing. There's no evidence that Alicia slash Mayal is a great artist. Verso just wants her to be, so the world he wants to chuck her into will be okay. Grim, what was your take?
I think my experience with Verso was a bit different
Hmm.
to the rest of you. You seem to all have reacted to him as a sort of bit of a cad and a bounder. With me, when it was getting into the flirtation with the female characters, I hit on CL first, and she's just like, "Yeah, cool, want a bone?"
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And it didn't feel like she was being coerced or anything. One thing I really liked about the Witcher games was the way in which Geralt gets hit on.
Right.
Right? That's which is not something you see in a lot of games. It's like people want him, partly because he's infertile, I'm
Yeah.
sure,
And
but
disease free. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, but
Yeah.
that I always liked that about that, and I liked that here. So, when I was playing through, Verso didn't really get into it with the other ladies who stuck with CL, who is a widow,
This
and
is
so she's just
Yeah.
that's what was weird about that for me. It's funny you mentioned Geralt because I nicknamed Verso on site Geralt of Rhysand because he just seemed so romantic-y character for me, and I was like, how did his mama make this guy? Because to me, the perfect boy, according to his mama, is Gustav. Right?
I
Like
agree.
he's
Yeah.
yeah,
he's a perfect mama's boy. He's what a mama would. What is that with verse with the furs and the swoopy hair and the whisper voice? I mean, he very much is like a romanticy figure, and that was almost the one of the female writer on the project just screaming at me, "This is my moment." You
yeah.
didn't did that bug any of you guys?
I
Because I felt so pandered to, and it didn't work.
um I don't think it's a coincidence that you lose Gustav and then you get Verso.
Yeah.
Because
Like
Gustav
right away.
feels like how Verso would have been at the start of all the shit
It's
happening to him.
interesting.
And
Mm.
then
Okay.
Verso is like a very similar personality type, but someone who has endured and hasn't really
Okay.
had any choice because he can't die. Right. And I mean, Jake, you were talking about how certain things resonated with you in your life. Um, yeah, I resonated with that. Be tough, take it, keep taking it, keep taking it. You can take it, whatever it is, and you just put your head down and you keep going.
Mm.
Um, and to me, that exhausting lifespan that he has
Yeah.
of dying and coming back and going through all of this and never really being able to do anything about it explains his sort of prickliness and the slowness with which he trusts anybody else. Because the poor sod's been through hell.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a scene, Alec, we're going to use, put you on the spot
Yeah.
here. The key verso scene to me, and I caught this in my second playthrough because I knew it was going on. The scene with him and Renoir, and this is why I think it was important that Renoir had a face for this. Because you're watching Renoir just tear his son down. And Verso's going from sort of a resolve to just he sort of melts. He doesn't even crumble, right? He just becomes sort of the submissive guy that was talked into killing Julie on expedition. Like it was quite some time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
among the first
Yeah,
expeditions.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It was way, way, way back. And it's like to me, that was when Verso stopped. And when your dad says, "Oh no, it's for the best." And I don't know if you're supposed to believe that the torture was what cut him in half or he cut himself in half to escape or something like that. But that, and it's real easy to miss what happens with Julie. But that scene with Verso and Renoir, everybody gets. And to me, that's him. He'll never be his own man because his father's always gonna on him. That's why the bouncing head just finally explodes resonated so much with me. But Alec, because you really identify with Gustav, how do you feel about Verso? I was gonna say you like him, but no, that's not quite accurate.
Yeah, no, I don't really like
Okay.
him, but I also identify with him,
Yeah.
but in different way. And for the accent, for example, I read it a bit different because I'm more in the idea that Renoir was very controlling with him, and him hiding the truth and not showing who he was to him was a way to protect himself. If he
Right.
doesn't know him, he can't manipulate me and control me however he wants. But despite that, you see that when they interact together, he managed to have a grip on him
Yeah.
nonetheless.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
did you notice every kid in the mansion has a secret room? And in Verso, it's his train set.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Cause and
cool.
that I still like trains. Like obvious to me, not obviously, but his father wanted him to get rid of childish things, and he's like, no. Like, yeah, Grim.
Um, just a quick observation. The way in which he collapses in front of his father is you see that in a lot of negative and dysfunctional relationships between partners, between
Mm-hmm.
family. It's just you know that it is not worth the stress of the
Yeah,
argument because you are not going to change their minds. You just kind of shut down and start going, whatever. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah, that happens a lot. So that's how I read that.
yeah. So let's close on Renoir and we'll stick with you, Grim, and then we'll
Oh,
sort of go
okay.
around. Um, eh, Renoir, like, because you said he's the villain. He's not the
Mm.
primary antagonist for the first half, but he is like if Aline is Vass, Renoir is the second half of Far Cry 3, right? And it became clear to me very, very, and Jake can vouch for this. I was cursing at the beginning, like this is all bullshit. It can't be her. Like that's too obvious. Like a team paintress, right? But Renoir really is an antagonist for all his children. He is charismatic, but the game, one of the few things the game just punches the player in the face again and again and again is Renoir's association with control and authority and metaphor. And to the point that I was like, somebody has an academic for parents. Because he really did feel like Alina's the artist, Renoir is the critic to me. And maybe that's because I was a games journalist and I had to listen to people talk like Renoir all the freaking time. And it was a game dev who said, I come from these things from the realm of art. That is the realm of criticism. But since you pegged Renoir as the villain, very charismatic villain, very good villain, but do you really think he's evil?
It depends whose point of view you're talking from. Um, to me, he kind of represents not just a critic, but also the art world sort of pre-impressionism. Because he is very literal. He doesn't recognize the reality or humanity of the painted characters because they're just paintings. What are you making a fuss about? Um, I think possibly he is covering up for insecurity because he doesn't have the same level of talent as anyone else in his
Building,
family.
yeah, yeah.
Um, so, those who can do, those who can't teach.
Metaphor.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So that's where I'm at with him. I mean, he's just so sure and certain in himself, or is pretending to be,
uh,
that is what makes him the villain.
one thing that struck me is it's 1906 and his wife's the big star in the family. That is a bitter pill. Yeah, David, you're nodding. What did you want to say about Renoir?
I completely agree with Grimm. Like, I feel like he really is he's control. He is in, I don't know if I should say institutionalism, but like, he is again, these are just paintings. You don't need to worry about them. Why are we worrying about them? They're just paintings. But Eileen is the complete opposite. She's like, she's she's got consumed by these paintings
Yeah.
basically. And it's like, I don't know. I really like the duality there. That's all I
Yeah,
want to say.
and they're bad for each other. Those
Yeah.
two. It
Hmm.
it it took my second playthrough to realize that their relationship was going to shit long before Verso died. Hence, Top Hat Man. And I mean, Renoir, what I keep hearing about Renoir, Alec, I'm going to put you on the spot for this. No, but we'll see both Jake and Alec on this one because I think you're going to come at it from different ways. What I hear about Renoir from the Renoir stands when I choke down my horror, um, is he's trying his best and he has a point. So, which one of you guys want to take that first? Neither. Jake is biting the bullet. Okay, Jake, hug your baguette tightly. That sounded wrong.
It did.
Okay.
They grasped. No, Alec, I would like to hear your opinion on it first, if that's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of agree with that because yes, he have a point, and yes, he's trying to do the good thing for his family, just coming it at the worst angle possible and not trying to understand what they are going through and what they are thinking.
Yeah.
And that's an
Because he thinks
issue
he already
with
knows. Yeah.
yeah, and that's some of the issue with Alicia and how he portrays her because he wants her to fly with her own wings. But did he understand that she was into writing, like the people they are in war with, and that she got burned? Like, it's not that she doesn't want to, it's not that easy. So,
Yeah.
and he's trying to push them to their limits without understanding that they can't do what he wants.
Yeah. And did anybody else just get the gut punch of being defined by unrealized potential? Like out of everybody, I think Alicia got the shittiest accent. Oh, you have such potential. I mean, we don't know what Clay's is because she destroyed it. It looks like a mime to me.
I think that'd be cool if it is for sure.
Well, she doesn't say
Hmm.
much.
Yeah, she's in the back, but
And
she's
she speaks based on her actions. And Renoir is the master of the cliche. I mean, spreading your wings, like, oh God, there are a couple times like just
the
the
reacher.
the on the nose metaphors. Just like I know this is supposed to be painful, like a Goya painting, but ugh. So Jake Renoir doing his
Eh,
best.
no, I do not believe that in the slightest. Personal opinion time. And this is my history mixing with headcanon of the game. So I'm just putting that out there. I believe he resents Aline because she is too talented that he can't catch up. So because he cannot succeed or even come like have a rivalry in her is her talent as a paintress, he rules the home. And everyone is his subjects. And they will do what he says. But it sounds like Clair is as talented, if not a bit more than him, so he can't control her. Renoir runs from him as much as she can, and when he is in front of him, he does anything just to get the conversation finished. So he only has wee Alicia, who in her accent is this big monstrosity that he has, quote, built for her as she sits on a little throne as a little. I can only describe it as a fetus, really. That's what it looked like to me
Yeah.
whenever you go into the
Mhm.
big gaping hole that is her face. And it's just her sat there doing nothing, learning nothing, growing as nothing, but all around, you will reach the stars because I have made it so. You just sit there and do what I tell you. That's what
Mm,
I got from it. Also
wow.
regarding the hauler, that's the name of the accent that was Clay's. The whole thing of like holding that big stuff. I kind of got the feeling of Sisyphus from that a bit as well.
Oh,
That
that's what
you are
that
just
painting
doing.
is with everything on her back.
Mm,
Yeah,
mm.
sorry, not the. I meant
Oh,
Atlas. Sorry, my brain.
right, right. But she's basically Louisa from Encanto, based on that.
I guess
Yeah,
in a
it's
way, yeah.
That works. Yeah, okay.
and I actually believe he meant it as a part of a compliment with a jab. You keep collecting anecdotes, you keep collecting all these amazing things, and it's going to crush you because
Yeah,
Mm,
it's not like he's holding it easily. He's almost borrowed over with the weight. If you see the painting version of it,
right.
as the actual body's kind of got a sword through his face, so he can't really
Oh yeah,
hold
it's like,
anything. But you get my
yeah,
point.
I was like, it's Spider-Man number 8, right? He's just lifting that. Yeah, 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 yeah.
So
Ah, that's a good catch. Okay.
anyone who's a good painter, if you notice it, now there's only two, but both of them aren't exactly treated well in his representations of them.
Yeah.
His wife is a beautiful dancing thing. There's no strength, there's no authority.
She's
She
a
just waves and does all
temptress.
this. She's a temptress, yes.
Yeah.
Her daughter is the manual worker
Yeah.
who
Louisa.
does the hard work of the family. His son, who lies to him because he doesn't actually do what he tells his dad he's going to do. He goes and
Yeah.
does his own thing and just saves face. And the only one he could control is his little baby girl, who
Yeah.
then, as soon as she goes and disagrees with him, he immediately stomps his foot and says, "No more, enough." I
Yeah.
still
That was
understand
another
what
pivotal
his
scene. Yeah.
that scene, if everyone remembers it, of Renoir, the darkest day of our lives is going to suffocate you and take you from us too. That one, which Andy Serkis should win an Oscar for that alone, because
Oh, he
Hell
I
yeah.
would.
almost cried.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Oh,
but
the slow burn on that scene where he went from come along to now, just
Yeah.
yeah,
Oof.
chilling and spellbinding, and the dude doesn't get enough credit.
I still felt love in that moment. That was the purest form of him just saying to them that I love you and you're going to kill yourself.
Yeah.
Please stop. But
Agree.
every action he had done beforehand, he had failed, so they weren't able to hear his message anymore.
Well, he's
You
also
get my
trying to
point?
force it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's if he had been kind up to that point, been considerate, been loving, been caring, and listening to her thing, and then did that, that might be a wake up call. But no, that is just him stamping his foot again, demanding control rather than asking you to stop for a moment.
Yeah.
And then, of
Grim. Oh,
course,
sorry.
destroying the painting is just a ludicrous way of handling this situation overall. Even though I chose the Verso ending, not a chance would I
Yeah.
do that.
Agree. Same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. Grim, you got your hand up. What's up?
Uh, I think we've slightly overlooked in the visual language of the game. And I was thinking about Renoir that brought it to mind. Everything he does it with efficiency and very small movements. Even his most colossal attacks it's little
He,
more than raising a cane and bringing it down,
but he
right?
uses a cane even though he doesn't need one. That really pissed me off.
As someone who
As someone
does
who
have
needs
to
a
use a
cane. Yeah,
cane,
yeah, yeah. It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
fuck you, asshole.
But everyone else, their attacks and their movements are flowing and artistic, and I think that's just another little breadcrumb to show that
The
he's not that.
the fact that Mail gave him Japanese mending on his shoulder as well, I thought was originally I noticed because Clea does the slashes like good stuff Klimt, but Eileen actually, the jacket. That's because I put Verso in that the minute I could
Mm.
because
Me too.
it's
Yes.
fly, it is
Yeah.
styling, but it's got the gold mending.
Kintsugi.
Yeah, yeah, and I
Oh,
thought
that's
that
what
was a
that
really he
is.
thinks he's got it together, but the cracks are literally showing.
Uh,
And yeah, you really gotta decode this game. And I think that's what's amazing about it. David, yeah.
yeah, I was just about to go there.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say it's so cool the fact that we can just sit here and like talk about it like this, just because like it's I don't know. I usually don't get to do this with games. So especially JRPGs, you play a Final Fantasy, you can't really talk about it like this.
I
So
feel my concept is understood. Okay,
yeah,
that is a good place to land, David. All right. The whole
listen.
point of men liking stuff is bringing very different men from very different parts of the world and very different experiences together to talk about liking stuff. So, if anyone has a topic you would like men to talk about liking, please leave a comment, like and subscribe if you would like to do it yourself. I think we're gonna have to do one on Superman at some point. With the
Mm,
possibilities are endless. But guys, thank you for being part of an experiment and coming here and doing something where you must bear a part of your soul to talk about this because so much of it was in shadow. So I'm grateful. Hopefully you felt heard because that's another thing and understood because that's another thing I want to do from the initiative. So thank you all very, very much for doing this experiment. All right. And Jake, thank you so much for the cosplay. It
yeah, that's
it
cool.
it really added.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks
Just to dress
everybody.
up.